Hey everybody, I'm CJ, and by the looks of it, it seems like we really have seen the end of the Snyderverse. And I'm not gonna lie, guys, I'm actually pretty surprised by this because if ever there was a no-brainer of something that you need to continue, the Snyderverse is basically it. This may not be what some people want to hear, but the fact is the only real successes that the DCEU has had can all be traced back, directly or indirectly, to Zack Snyder. Basically, except for maybe Shazam, basically everything else, it all goes back to Zack Snyder. And one of the reasons why I didn't think it was necessarily bad news that AT&T was buying basically the entire Time Warner empire, one of the reasons I didn't think that was necessarily bad news is because AT&T is in the business of business. You know, they don't give a shit about the Hollywood cult. They're not part of that scene. And forgive me, I'm still a little stopped up here. I'm getting over some kind of bug. So anyway, just ignore that if you will. Anyway, like I say, I mean, AT&T, this is a serious business. They're in the business of making money, of turning a profit. And so I saw a lot of potential with AT&T owning everything that has anything to do with the Time Warner media empire. You know, it seemed to me that only good things could come out of that. Geez, now it's really acting up on me. Forgive me. And of all of the business decisions that they could possibly make, they just seem. God, this is really sorry. All the business decisions they could possibly make, they just seem so obvious. Just such a no-brainer. And like I say, continuing the Snyderverse has got to be it, and yet it doesn't seem like it is. There hasn't been, since the advent of Zack Snyder's Justice League, that coming out on HBO Max, there just wasn't any news really at all, except for that announcement from Ann Sarnoff that was basically a middle finger to fans. There wasn't any news, and I was shocked about that at the time. It didn't make sense. I mean, the Snyder Cut, it was blowing up on Twitter. Everyone was talking about it. The response was largely positive, and it just seemed. Look, I can totally understand where Warner Brothers maybe wanted to bury Zack Snyder's Justice League, act like that didn't happen, and all of that, because it makes them look bad. You know, they're the people who looked at what would become Zack Snyder's Justice League. They're the people that looked at that and said, no, we don't want to have anything to do with that. We're not doing that. We're going to try this business over here with Joss Whedon. And they're the ones that made that decision. And the Snyder Cut really does make them look bad. And it's got to be embarrassing. I mean, like, this is your job. Like, recognizing what is and is not a good movie, that's literally your job. And they completely fucked up at that. So it makes all the sense in the world to me that Warner Brothers doesn't want to continue on with this, but surely their masters at AT&T are going to have maybe a little bit different opinion on this. I mean, there's just no denying that in the main, people seem to enjoy Zack Snyder's Justice League. There was a tremendous amount of excitement for it, tremendous amount of anticipation, gigantic fucking fan base, and lots of social media impressions going on. I mean, it's like, what is the argument behind not continuing with this? And Zack Snyder sort of talked about this in an interview with Who the Fuck Knows, and this is coming obviously from Bounding Into Comics. And he basically, let me just scroll down here. He he basically says, when he's asked, what have you heard from Warner Brothers, if anything, since the Snyder Cut came out, or have you heard anything? Snyder basically says, well, no, I haven't heard from them at all. Like, from the day after I released the movie, I haven't gotten a phone call. It's been radio silence. And then he goes on to say, the only communication was and he means Ann Sarnoff, the only communication was Ann's article after the movie was released. That wasn't directly to me, that was to the people. So I don't know. As far as I'm concerned, let's see what happens with Discovery, and that's cool. And maybe there's who knows. And I mean, this is kind of Zack Snyder's kind of stream of consciousness, not quite absent-minded, but not completely there either, manner of speaking. But he does get the message across that, he hasn't heard anything from anybody. No one's contacted him, and there's nothing going on. And that is unthinkable to me. And yet that seems to be where we are. And I don't know, this is just nuts. So anyway, in case, I honestly don't know if I've ever come right out and said it, but Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, Zack Snyder's Justice League, I love those movies. I think they're great, and I would love to see more of them. And the creative rationale behind not continuing the Snyderverse, I don't understand. The financial rationale behind not continuing the Snyderverse, I don't understand that either. There just doesn't seem to be any kind of argument whatsoever behind basically mothballing the one real success that Warner Brothers had with DC and live action. It doesn't make sense to me at all. So anyway, there's nothing I can do about it, except I guess bitch about it on YouTube. But anyway, that's that. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, make sure you're still subscribed, comment, like, and share this video because it really helps me out. Also, you can find me on Twitter at Cole Loves Comics.